Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings be upon our Prophet and his family and his companion. Praises be to Allah. And this is how it's supposed to be at the beginning. Praises be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave us everything. And today I'm saying that it's going to be a very heavy lecture, not in the content of the technicalities and the things that the things that we do in the physical world, but it's more about of spiritual aspect. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me say the right words and the words that lead us to keep us connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we're going to talk about dhikr. Dhikr, it is an act of worship, and it is actually, they say, even some scholars, they say it is greater than the salah, because we do dhikr in the salah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Dhikr means remembrance. And dhikr, it comes from the word, or from the root word ذَكَرَ, and it means remembered. It means it literally means remembered, or to remember. It means not to forget. In other words, your mind is supposed to be mindful, and it's supposed to be always connected with Allah. Also, it means to come, like in the spiritual meaning of dhikr, it means coming into the presence of the exaltedness of Allah. Now we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala physically is physical, He's not exist everywhere, right? Because we know that Allah, He's exists everywhere in His knowledge. Allah knows where we are. Allah knows what we do. Even Allah knows, like one of the scholars, they say, He knows where the black ant, standing on a black rock in the dark night, He knows what it's doing in that moment. You see what I'm saying? Allah knows everything. And this is we know that we are in the presence of the exaltedness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, dhikr, it means the obedience. So there are various ways to remember Allah. First, when we obey Him by doing our prayers, by mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we eat, the way that we eat, the way that we do things, when we go to the bathroom, everything, even like when you're with your husband doing intimacy, that's all obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as long as it does not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is considered an obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, when we remember His name, like Allah or Bismillah, or the names of Allah, and I'm going to speak about the names of Allah, this is by itself is a remembrance. When we say thanks to Allah, when we give thanksgiving to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and show Him our gratitude, that's a dhikr. When we ask for pardon and we ask for forgiveness, this is a dhikr. When we give sadaqah means charity, that's a dhikr for Allah. When we call on Him in our trouble and sorrow. So remembrance of Allah should be as essential as breathing. And even like the most people that they really care about this are the Sufi people. Like they say, even like when you're breathing, you say Allah, and when you breathe out, you say Allah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there are different ways when you say La ilaha, when you take a breath, and then illallah, and you know. So you say it in your mind, in your heart. Even like the scholars, they say every cell in this universe is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we don't know how they praise. They have their own way of praising Allah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy upon him, he said, dhikr is everything is said by the tongue and imagined by the heart that causes the person to draw nearer to Allah. And this is called the general dhikr, like everything, because we have two types of dhikr. We have the general and we have the special dhikr. So the general is everything that you do or you say, and it is imagined by heart that causes the person to draw nearer to Allah, such as seeking knowledge, teaching, enforcing goodness, forbidding evil, and mentioning Allah. So that's the general meaning of dhikr. Now we have the more personal meaning of dhikr. It is actually whatever it comes out of the mouth that it praises Allah or thanks Allah or mentions Allah. So dhikr is remembering Allah Almighty by using terms and words that they were mentioned about Allah from the Quran or Sunnah. Now it's great that sometimes we have our own dua, our own prayer to say it in your own words. That's great. But the best dua, as I mentioned last time, that the du'as that are mentioned in the Quran and they are mentioned also by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, okay? Such as the verses of the hadith that glorify tamjid in Arabic, glorify or exalt, tanzih, or sanctify, taqdis, or call for the oneness, like when we say La ilaha illallah, Allah Almighty. So any of these words that we say and mention, that's called the personal dhikr, that we say that it is less general. The general is everything that you do that, that is accepted by Allah, but the personal one or the special one is what you say by your mouth. And of course, when you say it by your mouth, your heart should also feel it. Your heart should say it also.